In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to finish off a basic prayer bracelet. And so you want to start off by counting your knots. You should have 32 knots. The knot we're going to be working on is our 33rd knot. So go ahead and make the actual prayer knot the exact same as you always do, just keeping special mind while you're making this last part. So at this point, we're going to take it off our fingers as we normally do, and we're gonna kind of spread out the middle so that we make sure that the back is coming in smoothly. This part you want to bring from the front. This is important because if you bring this in from the back, it'll make an oval as opposed to a circle. So now you're going to close the knot there. Don't close it on top of another knot or this knot will become misshapen. Make sure it has wiggle room, but it's not far because once it's closed, it's closed. You can't fix the spacing.
Who could stand? But there's forgiveness with you, God. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. A broken and a contrite heart you won't turn. Have mercy on me, have mercy on me, because of your
We're just finishing off the knot as we normally would, and now that it's finished, there are two methods to actually closing the knot. So first, I like to cut my strings so that they're not in the way. Just don't cut them too short because we're going to need a little bit of wiggle room and space, but cut them enough that it's not going to be in your way. I also close the looped one because that one tends to get tangled up and confused with the other ones. So there are two methods to actually closing off the prayer bracelet. You can either use super glue, which I do not recommend, or you can sew it. Sewing it definitely takes a little more time, but in the end it's so worth it. So find where the sliding knot is. In my case, it is on the left side. It's on the right side. It should always be on the right side. If it's not, flip it. It gets confusing. And make sure that everything's really snug before you start sewing. That way we don't sew in any weird parts. Yeah, don't use a super glue. If you did use super glue, because of whatever reason, you want to make sure to put it in and not out. If it gets on the outside of the knot will become hard. So find a thread of very similar color. It's very easy if you're doing white or black. I did a colored wool for the sake of clarity. This is the closest color match. It's not perfect, but it's alright. Just cut off a very small amount. We don't need that much. And what you're going to do is take off one strand. So you're going to separate it into one because it should be very thin, or else our thread is going to just show right through, and we don't want that. Once you have that thread cut, go ahead and put it on the needle. You are going to make a knot. It might not work as you hoped, but still make the knot because it's more helpful. And basically we're just sewing together the two knots so that they don't come undone. We're just going to do a basic stitch all the way around, and I like to do that twice or even 3 times to just make sure that it's really reinforced and it isn't going to rip. I've had a lot of issues with my prayer bracelets ripping even with super glue, and to be honest, when you have to repair things with super glue, it just becomes a really hard mess. So I definitely do not recommend that. So go ahead and just start sewing it all the way around. Make sure that you're not sewing big stitches or else it will show through with time and as it stretches. Make them very small and try to make them not visible, and make sure after each stitch you're pulling tight to hide the thread.
because of your steadfast love.
أيها الرب القدوس استمع لي أصغي إلى توسلي أنصت مت إلى صلاتي الصادرة عن شفتين غير غاشتين
ليصدر حكمي من لدنك ولتنظر عيناي عدالتك هاليلويا
أنت بلوت قلبي أنت افتقدتني في الليل أنت محصتني.
Now that we're done, make sure it's nice and tight. You can go ahead and cut the strings. Make sure these ones are cut nice and close, and definitely make sure both sides are reinforced. In some cases, you'll have to reinforce both sides. I had to do that in my case, but it's not necessary usually. Go ahead and cut those, cut them nice and low because the texture is going to be different, especially with wool. And once you get those to where you like them, be careful not to cut a knot. That is really frustrating when you just finished and you accidentally cut a knot. Get close but not too close. So once you get that down to about where you want it, that is it, and you are done closing off your prayer bracelet.
أرشد خطايا في سبلك لكي لا تزل خطواتي
It may seem pretty difficult, but it's really easy once you get the hang of it, and it's really easy to do it all in bulk, so just save them up. This prayer bracelet is available on Orthodox Christian Gifts. Please check it out.